Good evening. Let's call the meeting to order. Can we get a roll call?
Here.
Chair,
Here.
trustee Daniels,
Here.
trustee Drew,
Here.
and trustee Cook.
Here.
All right, let's stand for the flag salute. There it is. Okay. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. So can I get a motion to approve the agenda with the amendments that we had earlier?
I'll move that we approve the agenda with the amendments.
There are no amendments.
Oh,
Well, you had it on my list.
That's just an indicator. If we do have amendments, I'll highlight them so you'll
Oh.
have it.
okay.
Okay.
I just move that we approve the agenda.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I believe we don't have any public comment tonight. Okay. Approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion?
Oh.
Well, I had one comment. We had a typo on the start time,
Oh.
but otherwise
Oh,
a 6:60 start time, and I think it was a 6:30 start time.
that was a little late, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just a comment.
Okay, I'm going to move that we approve the minutes with the correction made by Jesse for the meeting March 21st and for the meeting March 23rd.
Do we have a second?
I'll second now that I've read them.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Anybody have any questions, comments, anything on that?
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, moving right along. Reports and recognitions. Do we have any appreciations, presentation, anything like that? I see, Brian, you recognized your special ed paras.
I did. Yeah, they're working really hard to support all kids. It's one of the things we really focused on this year is a team environment with within that special education room. Historically, there's times where parapros will be maybe assigned to just one student or one scenario. And one of the things we've worked really hard on is to help them be more versatile, to not only help support all the kids better, but to support them so they don't get burnt out working in one scenario. So that way we can move a little bit, making sure they're getting their breaks. They've just done an outstanding job of getting trained on how to work with a multitude of children with very high needs. And so they're very, very important to the function of our building. And they also go above and beyond to be team members and help with other aspects on campus too, which is neat to see. Whether that's coordinating school dance or the jump day for the sixth graders or anything like that. They're really an integral part of the team. It's been a pleasure to see the teamwork they've had this year.
Awesome. Okay. Committee reports. Dr. Garrett, do you have anything? Or?
Yeah, so we need to get our policy committee together. And I've been trying to get that coordinated and everybody's just been super busy. So before our next meeting, we will have some recommendations for you guys. And you've seen the policies. I've shared them with you the last two meetings, so we need to get some of those underway. We have reviewed those policies in leadership and with some recommendations, but I want to get them through committee as well. So those will those will be coming soon.
We also, negotiations, Harmony Committee has met. One of the things we're trying to do is according to our 5295 policy is get the impartial review of the numbers for the IEA. It's a technicality. We have to follow our policy because once we start not following policies, it leads us down a very dark hole. So it's just policy. You guys can read that policy and see that it says about getting the third party just to review the numbers and make sure that everything's kosher. So we're diligently working on that and hopefully it'll go off without a hitch here shortly. So, and then we'll be able to get down to the nitty gritty nuts and bolts. All right. Anybody else? Oh, geez. Okay. Building reports. Did the board have a chance to review the building reports? Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, anything?
I do, Madam Chair. I was wanted to talk about the senior project changes. I've been fortunate and frustrated to be a mentor over the years. And actually I'm concerned about the kids' ability to stay on track without that dedicated time. So I'm curious of the rationale or the need for the change.
So the senior project class, typically what happens is that turns into a little bit of a babysitting class because you have kids who are all over the place with where they're at in their projects. Not that it's all that way, but it's for an entire semester to have a senior project class really is a bit of really a waste of instructional time when those kids can be doing other things, especially when we have opportunities for them to potentially do some career exploration, to do some other things that can be more beneficial to them. One of the things we're trying to do is create more accountability. And so one of the ways that we're helping them stay on track is we're assigning every senior to a certified staff member. So that certified staff member, so if you divide it by the number of seniors, and each class will be different based on how many kids are in that class. But if one certified staff member has 5 seniors that they're responsible for making sure that they're at a certain point at a certain time in the first semester, then they have more of an individual connection with that person rather than it just being a class where, so you could have a kid who's done with their senior project, but they still have that class on their schedule. And so if they're a kid who's following rules and doing what they need to do, they're still showing up, but it just turns into kind of maybe a homework class, things they're working on other stuff. They don't really need it, but they're there because they're following the rules. They're at school. Other students maybe won't be there. And so our hope is to actually increase some of the personal accountability while still having an adult mentor to not the actual senior project mentor, but the adult mentor in the building to make sure they're on track with where they need to be with their project. So that's based on feedback from the students. I've talked to a whole lot of students, had a student come to me with a proposal on some changes. Another piece of that is the removal of the portfolio piece of that in hopes that we'll have a more robust, they felt like the portfolio was just kind of a hoop they were jumping through and not a lot of people looked at it. Maybe they didn't get access until they came to the presentation. It just wasn't something that really was of value. And so we're trying to take out things that are just there to jump through a hoop and instead put that energy into the actual learning process of what this project is about, service to the community or whatever it may be that the person's working on. So it may not be perfect, but based on the feedback, we're wanting to make some changes to try to see if we can listen to the students, but still make it rigorous and relevant for them.
Okay, I was just wondering on the accountability side.
Yeah.
Because I've drugged some through and I've helped others through, you know,
Right.
so.
Right. And it's a concern, you know, but at the same time, it's these students' responsibility. It's part of what they need to do. So if we're going to take a few things off their plate with it, like the portfolio, our expectation is that hopefully that'll leave them more time to follow through with the things that are really what count in the senior project, which is the project itself. And then we want to put more emphasis on the reflection portion. And so having them do a deeper reflection as to what learning took place, whether or not the problem they presented was resolved based on their project or if it wasn't and why, rather than just saying, okay, if I had any recommendations, don't procrastinate, which is kind of how they always end. And so we're hoping to put more emphasis on the reflection process, which is any action research. That conclusion is really the meat of the project.
Great, thank you. I
Mhm.
understand.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
What is the date for the bike rodeo?
For our, it is the 12th. May
12th? I'm gonna try to get that on my schedule. Come and volunteer.
Anybody else? Questions, comments, concerns?
And it's down at the park, Orofino Park. I know what you're driving all the way up here.
I saw that. I saw that you were going to the Orofino.
Only comment, IDCYA, I was out cleaning up the highway. A lot of nice clean highways around here, so appreciate the effort they put in cleaning up the highways.
Mhm. Yeah, and I noted on IDYCA too, that their graduation is quite a bit earlier this cycle than what it has been, so.
Yeah, they didn't do the home pass. They didn't do the break. So that was something they started last semester, last term. So
Awesome.
And the mock interviews, I've been part of that. And I know my company's going up and helping again, but that's a big thing for the kids and the community to be part of. So I'm glad they're still doing that or got that back going because last year we weren't able to do it because of COVID. So good to have that back on.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. All right. At this time, we're going to go ahead and do our executive session prior to doing our discussion or other action items. So,
Wait, program records? What about-
oh, I considered all. Oh, do you have
Oh,
questions
you
on the?
lumped them?
Yeah, I lumped
Oh,
them.
okay.
Just be sure to turn your mics on.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just, can
I'm
we
sorry,
stand up?
Madam
She
Chair.
had
Yeah.
another question.
I'm not done. Yeah, so we had gotten a little bit of feedback related to transportation, but I was hoping for a little bit deeper dive into that.
So what feedback are you looking for? What Derek gave you?
Yeah, there was some rate, yeah.
Yeah. So we haven't got a lot of feedback and Derek's not able to be here because he's actually driving a trip right now. So what's your question in particular?
Well,
Maybe I can ask.
I'll send them.
Okay, that'd be best.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Everybody's still doing. He is on? Okay. He said he was going to try to phone if he was a place he could stop. Is that where he's at? So yeah, maybe you can ask him if you can get him on there.
Derek, are you here?
Can you hear me?
Hey,
Yep.
right on. Yeah.
Yep.
I was just hoping that you could go over sort of publicly the information that you shared with us.
So that would be the stuff in the bottom there as far as getting your license. Is that what you're meaning?
There were costs associated with what we could and could not do, the reimbursement rates, how they were set. Was the information that you sent as a follow-up to the last month's meeting?
Okay, so my Zoom just bleeped out halfway through almost all what you said right there. And so I lost most of what you said. I'm sitting in a bus, so I'm trying to remote in.
So I just wanted a little bit discussion publicly about the follow-up information you sent after last month's meeting related to the costs and reimbursement.
Okay. And so that would have been when we're talking about how much like the fuel's reimbursed, how much the wages are reimbursed and that kind of stuff.
Yes, sir. And I
Yep.
can pull it up if that would help you.
Okay. And so maybe what we're talking about is like the funding cap. And so on the funding cap, there are a few districts, we're one of them, that goes over on our funding. Because we are rural, we have a lot of miles to drive. We have 2 high schools that we're providing trips for. We are in the classifications of small districts that end up going over the allotted state allowable reimbursement level. But then we turn in what's called our hardship routes. And those hardship routes are routes that are 50% gravel roads, routes that have 10% of the road. I think it's 10% of the roads that are at like 5% or more slope, or routes that fall under 50% of the average ridership in the state, which is 1.5, I believe, right now. And so we've qualified for hardship routes on, I believe it's 25% of our routes. And so then they raise our funding cap up on those amounts. So then we receive more funding based on the fact that we have those hardship routes. And so we get a funding cap waiver that allows us to actually spend more than does the average in the state because of the hardship of our district. Does that make sense?
Is that the difference between the 50% and the 85% reimbursement?
Nope. The state has certain things that they classify as 85% reimbursed and certain things that they classify as 50% reimbursed. And it's a very interesting matrix. And it's pages and pages long to go through of what is and what isn't reimbursed at what level. So you take anything that goes on a bus or anything that goes on it, parts are 85% reimbursed. Fuel is 50%, but the oil that goes in the motor is 85%. It's just a weird, complex, line by line, what is and what isn't reimbursed at what level. And it's all set up by the state.
Okay, thank you very much. I was
Mhm.
a little bit confused, and then I saw the clarification. So,
Okay,
thank you.
all right. Anybody else? Okay, now can we get a motion, easy for me to say, huh? For executive motion. Yeah, can't say it.
Pursuant to Idaho Code 74-2061A, I move that we enter executive session.
Okay, can we get a roll call?
I'll second.
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry. Second, geez.
Shoot.
Yeah, sorry, let's do it.
Greg second.
He
I
seconded
second.
it. I'm sorry.
Chris motion, Greg second.
Yeah.
Trustee Craig,
Here.
trustee Jewett,
Yes.
trustee Davies,
Yes.
chair Lewis,
Yes.
trustee
Yes.
Okay. You're right. Oh, okay, now I'm on. We'll reconvene at this time and move on to our discussion items. First one up to bat is the Law Conference and Leadership Institute that's taking place next week.
Yeah, so I believe we
Or-
have,
Yeah,
yeah,
Leadership Institute's 25th. I stand corrected. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. So next week, the law conference, and I believe we have Brian and Greg and Christine, correct, going. So I will be posting that this week as well to make sure that that's a legal gathering.
Mhm.
And just for training, there won't be any actions items or anything on that. So we'll see
Okay.
that posted. And I'll be going myself.
And the Leadership Institute's in Lewiston on the 25th, correct?
Yeah, and I believe we had, I'd have to look at my list, but I believe, were you going? And I think Jesse was going and yeah, so I think we had a pretty good turnout, and I'll get that posted as well when the
Okay.
time comes.
Perfect. Anything more
Thank
on
you,
that?
thank you guys for taking the time to do the training. It's crucial to being a good board, so I appreciate that.
Okay. All right, employee stipends.
Yes, so the employee stipends through this House bill, what was it actually?
1404.
Yep, 1404. So I sent you guys a spreadsheet. What we receive from the state is based on those FTEs. So as you look at the FTEs, if you're 1.0, which is the certified staff is all 1.0, or if you're working year round is 1.0. The classified staff, it's basically if you are, it's based on the hours that we turn into the state and the hours they work. So we are a 4-day school week. Most of those employees, or a large portion of those employees, work around 9 months out of the year. So it's based on those calculations. So if you look through those tabs, you see the individuals, and basically what we were prepared to do is just to pass those straight through. So there were no adjustments or calculations or favoritism or anything else. It's all just, that's what this legislators allotted according to law, and that's what's going through to the employees. So questions, comments, concerns? Yes. So that is a net amount. Yes. So the benefits are paid by this bill. It paid all the retirement and everything out of it. So yeah, that should be the check that goes home, or very close to that.
Okay. Anybody have any more questions on that one? Any more discussion?
It's what? What did you say?
Legislatorship gave us more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We always say that.
Mhm.
We always walk away and say we gave you all kinds of stuff, but
Yeah, well, it was deceiving.
yeah,
It-
very
it-
much
It
so.
was deceiving,
Yeah.
the way that it was put out to the public versus how it actually
Right,
goes in.
right.
So,
So if we were to bring everybody that one spreadsheet that you have, the one tab, I believe it's somewhere around $60,000. If we brought everybody to the $1,000 mark, that would be out of our pocket. So.
okay. Anything else on that? More discussion? Okay. So let's move on to the fee schedule. I believe we're going to talk about that, but it's going to be tabled.
Right. So, yeah, so our fee schedules, we're reviewing those currently. And if we have, our policy says if we have an increase of any fee schedules over 5%, we're to have a public hearing. So as we go through some of these calculations, we're seeing a lot of those are over 5% because we haven't really revisited our fee schedule. So these things and it will be things such as, and you have them on your list. So things such as our transportation reimbursement, our driver's ed, and also our lunch fees, those will be determined, and breakfast fees will be determined by the calculations that we receive from the state. What else was on that list? So really, we don't collect a lot of fees, but the ones that we do, like I said, they need to be readjusted. Mileage is one of those. It's a pretty big one. Currently, we're paying like in lieu of transportation right now for parents who are transporting students and no bus zones basically is 36.5 cents per mile. Our district nurse is receiving 29 cents per mile, but we since have purchased a vehicle for that through a grant that she wrote. So we will not have that expense. Employee in district travel, 36.5 cents per mile. We're looking at, with gas prices and all the expenses that keep going up, we'd like to move it to that 51 cents. I think it's the federal rate or state rate.
I think it's
I think it's-
58.5
Is that the federal or the state?
federal.
Yeah, the state's 51 something, isn't it? We were looking at the state rate. So, and then, yeah, it is 58.5 is what you had. Yeah. So employee travel is 58.5. So yeah, some of those rates, those increases, my intentions are next, in May, we will have a short hearing prior to our board meeting, to discuss those rates and work out what we want to do, and then go into the meeting and we can discuss and determine from there.
One quick question.
Mhm.
I don't find the list. You said we have a list.
No, it was on the list of actual fees that we're doing. So I just received an email today that I haven't sent to you guys yet. But there's also a list of the ones that we have on the agenda, I believe. Isn't that attached to it? It has it's on the action items. So it has driver's ed, travel, breakfast, lunch, facilities use, transportation. Yeah. Yep. Sorry. That's what I meant by list.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
wasn't clear on that.
Okay.
And
Alright.
keep in mind, these fees are not, for making money or that type of thing. They're more for just covering costs and expenses. So,
Do we have to have a motion to table that when we get into action or no?
yeah, I would just motion
Do
to
it.
table. Yeah, if
That's
you
what I
wouldn't
thought.
mind. Yep, that'd be
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
And then
So you want a motion to table that?
once we
When
get
we
to,
get down there,
once we get to
Okay.
action items.
I'll get confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
The spring up policy updates, I spoke to you a little bit earlier. We'll get together and we'll try to get those resolved. So we'll have those in our May meeting as well.
Any questions on that? Huh? Right on. Okay. So let's move on to our action items. Can I get a motion on this employee stipends?
I'll move we accept the employee stipend levels in accordance with Senate Bill 1404 as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm going to abstain.
Motion carries. Okay, can I get a motion on the fee schedule to table it, please?
I'll move we table the fee schedule discussion until next month when we can schedule a hearing.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay. Certified and classified renewals. Did everybody, are we good on that? Do we need anything on that at all? Okay. Can we get a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the certified classified renewals as listed on the agenda, action item number 3.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, new hires and separations. Any discussion, any questions on that? Good?
Yeah.
For,
Oh, that's good. Yeah, corrected.
Oh.
We need to be
Oh.
corrected. I'll
Okay,
move
okay.
that we accept the new hires and separations.
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Can we discuss
Yes.
real quickly?
Now, it's
Yes.
see, that one trips me
Yeah.
up every
So-
single time.
So I was kind of curious. I know that we hired a head maintenance type person, and then I see 2 maintenance positions on here. So is one of them that? Are we filling in gaps?
So we have had
Confused.
retirements and openings that we're filling current for each building. Yeah. So basically it's So we have a maintenance director now, and then
Yeah,
we're
I knew
having,
that.
yeah, and then we're having basically maintenance in each building that works, that are roamers or rovers. They're actually moving throughout the district as well, but primarily in each place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I just haven't seen in separations and retirements, the
Last month,
okay.
yes.
I
Yep.
did
So we
see
had to
that.
have it open and then we process and then, yeah. So
Okay, I'm
we're
sorry,
filling
I
out.
missed
No,
that.
that's okay. That's okay.
Okay, any other discussions?
I think we're still short, actually, aren't we?
Yes.
Timberline's still down.
Yes, correct. Yeah, we still do not have a maintenance person at Timberline. So we're filling in with, our maintenance director is doing a lot of that. And then we have people, I believe, from Orofino High School is going up to do some work as well. So they're doing a lot of teaming on things as well.
Still no interest in that.
No.
So one more and then we'd be staffed back up to where we were.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So
Thank
these positions have a little bit different responsibility than what we were doing before. So they're starting to be, expand throughout the district instead of just, one or two buildings. So
But
think
that
it'll be-
counts the same as before.
Mhm. Yeah, and then our custodial positions, we're kind of separating those a little bit more. So that'll be more of the, the cleaning and the routine day-to-day type things. But our maintenance items right now are throughout the district, and sometimes it takes more than one person to do those. So it's been beneficial to have the teaming up and the help.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, any more discussion? I'll get this one right someday. I swear to God. It trips me up every time. Okay, so we had a motion, we had a second, right? We discussed it, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, so any board member input for our next meeting at Timberline on May 16th?
Yeah, when do we have the map discussion? Isn't that coming up soon? The measure of academic progress.
So maps.
Maps. When do we have that discussion?
Data, but if you want
It's on the agenda here. Hang on, I'll look.
you want to have it, sorry. If you want to have it after this, it depends on what data you want to see. They'll take the spring maps prior to leaving the school year. So then you'd get a picture of 3 different maps assessments for the school
So we're
year.
not ready yet.
But I mean, we have the data, so just let me know and I can bring it and discuss ours.
No,
So,
I
yeah.
just wanted to make sure that
Yep.
we have that conversation. I was fascinated by it. so.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Okay,
probably, that would probably, yeah.
Once school is out would be the best time.
okay. I didn't have a date on my, so.
That's a good time to look at all that, regroup, do it, yeah.
I just maybe decide if you want that to be a work session or a presentation or however you want to do that. Some of it is you have to get in the weeds a little bit and explain some of the things like grit scores and growth measures and those kind of things. And so just kind of whatever you want, just let us know so that we know what you'd like to see.
Mhm.
But I guess you don't know unless you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so it's new to you guys, but I think it might be good to have a work session.
Mhm. That would, yeah. Well, the May 16th meeting, we can put that on the agenda or put it out. Yeah, we'll
Just plan on
figure it out.
for the June.
So on the
Yeah.
calendar, we have it on the June
We do.
board meeting. Yes.
Thank
So
you.
that one it's a calendar of board meetings and the schedule. I shared with you guys, it's in the June one. So,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
Perfect.
And I know we're gaining on the attendance for each location. That's been huge to look
Yeah.
at. Appreciate the principals that have got it on. I'd like to get it on all of them at some
Yeah.
point.
Can you see the enrollment sheet? If you look at my report, it's always on my report and there's a link to our district-wide enrollment broken down by school. So that's always a good summary. And I put it on there. Heidi and I run that report every time and I attach it every report. So if you want me to put it somewhere else on the agenda so it's a little more readily available, that's fine. But if you hit my report, it's usually at the bottom, it says enrollment. And it gives a month-to-month difference as well.
And
Do you want the attendance, like the actual percentage numbers or the enrollment?
you're looking at enrollment, right? Or are you looking at
No, I'm looking at
attendance?
percentage numbers.
Oh.
'Cause remember we were having
Oh,
those
yeah,
issues
yeah.
and some of the
Gotcha.
principals have added it
Yep.
since
Yep,
last month.
that's an enrollment form. So, yep, sorry about that.
Yeah.
So I'm working with Dwayne right now, trying to figure out how we can get a continuous report that'll
Yep.
run automatically, that we can get a trend line with it or in a graph. So
Should be
I
great.
want to be able
Yeah.
to see it through the whole year and see the whole sequence if there's dips and then
Yep.
start looking at that. So that's in the process. We don't have that report that really reflects the entire district,
Okay.
but we're working on that.
That
But
would
I've
be
seen
awesome.
it added on a
Yep.
couple new ones
Yep.
since previous meetings. So appreciate that. But yeah, if we could get it for all the schools, that'd
Yep.
be great.
Sorry, I misunderstood. I was thinking enrollment. So
I was like,
Thanks for
I
that.
dug it through that. I thought I'd find it.
yeah, no, I did not get that one done yet.
I think
'Cause
just
district wide, we couldn't.
for the next meeting too, maybe just having a report on what's going on at Timberline with, don't you
Sure.
think that'd be a good idea?
Yeah.
Just keep the public aware. of that.
Yeah, so I can expand just a little bit on that.
Yeah.
Today I met with the contractor up there and we've got trusses on site, floor joists on
Oh,
site.
wow.
They were bringing, it's surveyed out, marked out. Today when I met with them, they're putting their safety fences up and bringing equipment in and they plan on start digging soon, like tomorrow if they have it there or the next day.
Oh,
So
yay.
yeah. Did they have it there? Yeah, after I left. Okay, they dug today, so they got there. They're planning on pouring concrete, not next week, but the following week is what their schedule is right now.
They're
So,
on, they're
Oh,
on
there you go.
track and,
got some pictures.
oh,
Maybe we could do a site
Oh,
tour
wow.
prior to the prior to the meeting.
Yep, and you
Oh.
guys can stop in anytime. Yeah, and we're going to be up there on that day anyway. So, yeah.
Maybe if Jerry and the contractor
Yeah.
are there.
already looks way different. Already.
Just
Yeah.
be there a little early.
Yeah.
Maybe Jerry could coordinate it and be there.
Okay. Cool beans. Anything else? Anybody else? Anything else? No? Yes, no, maybe? No, oh, you look like you were,
Our meeting's down there.
you're not going?
No, I am gonna go. I want
Oh.
to give a report.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to give a report?
I would love a report.
Well,
Sorry, I
well,
can't make it.
can we schedule 2-3 extra hours for Jero to give us a report on that? No, I'm just kidding. Well, thank you, Cavendish Teakin staff. It's good to be up here. Good to be up here. Yeah, I like your little creature. Patches. Oh,
You want to see our kids playing the ukulele?
sure. Well, it's the effort that counts.
Yeah, we have a mom volunteer who's been volunteering for 15 years. Oh, more than that. Teaching our class, our students music and instruments in the Christmas program.
That's great.
So we had a couple of students absent there, but we don't have any kindergarten this year, so that's first through sixth. And that's Mrs. Huffman. She's been teaching here longer than me. 20 years. 20 years, and her kids went to school here and her husband went to school here. And then Miss Curfman is my another para. Her dad went to school here. Yep, and then Miss Polly's our bus driver and our on-demand volunteer.
My husband went here and my kids went here, my grandkids are
Yes.
still here.
We have you have three generations here. Yep.
That's awesome.
They're all functioning adults.
They're all
Great.
functioning.
I know, right?
Inside
You
of
know?
it.
That's a good sign.
I always tell people about that with Orofino. It's like, yeah, they're adults and they're not in prison.
Yeah. Success.
Success. Yeah.
Set that bar low enough. They can achieve anything. Yeah.
Oh, that's why I
That's what I
love
want
you.
you to do. Yeah, see that.
All right.
Should we grab some?
I have have one quick thing. I'm just thinking as I was looking at the sweatshirt, right? And the Clearwater County Chamber auction event is coming up.
true.
And it's all about hometown pride, and they didn't use any correct logos other than the Maniac for our schools. Do we have, and I looked to see if we had a digital image of the logo for Cavendish and Peck, and they're both Wildcats. Which,
Yeah.
so I just wondered if those could be put on our website for the school so that in the future, when community events are happening and they need a logo, they can go grab it.
We do have everything we can get on our website that we had, but I'd like to have that one. I asked you quite a while ago about that, and I got you have the little cartoon one.
And
The
then,
little Tigger one. Yeah.
The kids got.
Yeah.
cartoon ones each.
Yep.
No, they want the one where it's gonna eat somebody.
Yep.
So-
Cool.
yeah, and then Janine, the other question I had about the facility is, we had talked a year ago about windows and energy efficiency upgrade, and something was happening with that in relationship.
Well,
To our new
because we're not a
maintenance.
residence. We're not, Paul, thank you for the windows. So yeah, I don't know of anything happening with that.
Oh, I thought I
And
saw,
now the price,
Where?
am I interrupting you?
No.
The prices right now, it would be so, unless there's grant money, it'd be so, my husband's builder and the prices are so ridiculous right now, unless it was grant money.
Yeah.
Also, our siding is real. We have woodpeckers and squirrels that every year
Yeah.
we have to put metal pieces because our siding's starting to rot. So actually, it would, if there was ever any funding, siding would be more important.
okay,
Yeah.
So
If Cavendish needs it, Peck probably needs it.
That's what our image looks like.
Oh.
Oh.
ah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love the
Yep.
calendars.
We didn't do one this year, but
Yeah, they
because
were
the
up there.
Costco, since they stopped doing the photo thing, that the shipping cost was too high. So
Oh, bummer. No calendar.
Chris, I do have, Roy is doing estimates for our siding and windows up here.
Okay,
So,
thank you. I
we
knew,
are
I
getting
thought it had
estimates.
been on
Yeah.
a report,
Mhm.
so.
Yep, we are looking into it.
Very expensive.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we will adjourn.